Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blogging Grill. I'm your host, Doug, here with your video blog for August 3rd, 2013. I got your Athlete of the Month, NFL Two-A-Days, with the Chargers and the Bears. But first, let's get to the state of steroids in baseball. The Biogenetics Clinic, of course, is at the forefront of this investigation into who will be suspended. And really, there's going to be a lot of big names going down. We know Alex Rodriguez, Ryan Braun has already gone down, Johnny Peralta, Bartolo Colon, Nelson Cruz. Just a lot of guys going down. And really, you got to think, can you blame them? And I honestly can't, because they're getting their money, they're getting paid, and eventually it's not going to matter if they've done steroids or not, because they're going to get their money and they're going to get paid. Money, of course, always comes first, and I'm not surprised this is coming out now. And I think could be a lot of big suspensions, and there could be some smaller ones that we see come out as well. I mean, I think steroids in baseball is a big issue right now, and they need to clean up the game for sure. I don't know if they're going to, but I think it will happen at some point soon. So should be interesting to see what happens with this situation and what they begin to do with it. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that as they continue to clean that up. Word is suspensions will be out on Monday, so if they do, we'll definitely be talking about that come Monday. All right, time for my first NFL two-a-day for today. And I'm going to start off with my two-a-day for the San Diego Chargers, last year finishing 7-9, just a very inconsistent offensive team. Poor performers. Phillip Rivers did not have a good year throwing the ball. And that's really our key word for today. Quarterback's not playing well. All right, draft. I'm going to give them a C+ on their draft. They got good players. DJ Fluker from Alabama and Manti Teo from Notre Dame, but no great skill players on the offensive side of the ball where I think they really needed to try and draft. Additions, Ken Whisenhunt, new offensive coordinator. I think he'll be able to run that offense pretty well for them. He ran a good offense in Arizona, led that team to the Super Bowl, so I think he could run a good offense there. I like to pick up a Danny Woodhead as well as the big-time running back. I think he can really make some plays for them. They've used smaller running backs before with Ryan Matthews and Darren Sproles, so we'll see what they do with this new crop of small running back. All right, big-time departures. They lose Tate to KO Spikes, big linebacker, and backup tight end, slot receiver Randy McMichael. So not really a whole lot of loss. And I think the big question has to be for this team, how will Manti Teo be a factor in the NFL? We've seen him be a factor in college, kind of an undersized linebacker, similar to Ray Lewis. Not great speed, less speed than Lewis. It'll be interesting to see. I think he could have a big impact, and I think his impact will most likely be in the running game. I don't think he's going to be able to cover tight ends or other big players in the slot. So I think his big performance is definitely going to be in the running game, stopping the run, and maybe even getting some sacks and on quarterbacks and swatting down some passes. Overall, though, I have the Chargers coming in at 9-7 for this year. I think they'll improve some. I see them winning 2 more games. So I'll be back in a minute with the Chicago Bears, but now it's time for my Athlete of the Month. My Athlete of the Month is going to be Hiroki Kuroda, the starting pitcher for the New York Yankees. He finished off this past year at 3-0, or this past month. He was 3-0 this past month with a .55 ERA. He had 5 starts, threw 33 innings in those 5 starts, 25 hits, and 2 runs. One of those was a rain-shorting 6-inning start. 24 strikeouts, 6 walks, a .212 batting average against. Batters are batting like .40 against him with runners in scoring position. And he now leads baseball with 8 scoreless starts on the year, and he has the second best ERA in the American League behind Felix Hernandez. His current ERA record's 10-6, 2.38 ERA, and I think right now he could be an underdog for the Cy Young, so keep an eye on the Yankee starter Hiroki Kuroda, who's been the best pitcher for this team all year. All right, now it's time for more NFL two-a-days. Time for the Chicago Bears, who last year were 10-6 and mainly focused around their defense. Both categories, offensive, stopping the run, stopping the pass, they were 8th in the NFL. And Jay Cutler just had a rough year. He only had 19 passing touchdowns, got sacked a lot, bad offensive line. And that's why I'm giving their draft a C+. They did go out and get some good line players and some secondary defensive help. But still, just like the Chargers, no great offensive skill players that they brought to the table. Key additions, they brought in Mark Trestman as their new coach. He comes from the Canadian Football League. And they bring in linebacker Andre Starks and linebacker DJ Williams, kind of to try to find a replacement for Brian Urlacher. And of course, the biggest departure has to be Brian Urlacher leaving this team, along with not re-signing Johnny Knox and the loss of coach Lovie Smith. And the big question for this year has to be, how will the Bears replace Brian Urlacher on and off the field? It's not just his on-field performance, it's also his leadership in the locker room. You're going to have to see some guys step up, some Brandon Marshalls, some Jay Cutlers, some Matt Fortes. You're going to have to see these guys step up, begin to take more of a leadership role, and I think they're going to struggle with that, and that's why I think this team will take a step back this year, and they're going to finish at 9-7. The main reason I think that is because Detroit is resilient, and Detroit's going to be a lot better this year. So I see Detroit probably stealing a game from them, and they'll drop to 9-7 on the year. All right, so coming up next week on the blog Monday, I'll have thumbs up, thumbs down from your weekend. 2-a-days with the Ravens and the Rams. Do your MLB power rankings on Wednesday. Always remember, follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. Check me out on jbsmooth84.com. I got a story up there about Tiger Woods and his complaining about the greens at the PGA Championship site here in Oak Hill Country Club in Rochester. I'm going to have PGA Championship stuff next week as well. Probably Wednesday we'll talk a lot of PGA Championship as well. So that'll be fun. Also next Friday, hoping to have James Bridges on here, as we'll be doing a 2-a-day next Friday with the Browns. He's from Cleveland, so hoping to get some Cleveland insight from my man James Bridges, JB Smooth. Always remember, comment, questions, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I'll be back on Monday. Have a good weekend.